Ryan's done potato mode. Right, I'm going to take this from Ryan right here because I believe he's went pure potato there. Hello and welcome to this launch of a SpaceX Starlink satellites. Today I'm joined by Potato Man, aka Ryan, and we we are here to see the fastest turnaround of a booster with 21 days. This will be pretty routine mission for SpaceX. Launch takes 9 minutes to get to orbit and land on a drone ship downrange. Potato Man, anything to say? Still potato. He's a baked potato right now, so okay. He's right. So we this mission, but SpaceX will go live in about 15 minutes, and oh yep, we're having back. We're having back. Yep. SpaceX will go live in about 15 minutes, and launch is in about 30 minutes. We were meant to have a dual launch tonight with Rocket Lab's Catch, but that has been delayed for better weather in a few days' time. Okay, thanks, Ryan. Right, now that you've turned not potato, anything to say? Go ahead. Right. Still having audio issues with Ryan, so I will continue here. It's usually me having the issues, but we push on. Right. So, this is one of the missions that carries the most Starlink satellites. It carries about, I believe, 54 or 56. It depends on the size of the satellites, the weight of the satellites, and the inclination and what orbit the satellites are going to. Um, uh, SpaceX satellites go to low Earth orbit, and they raise themselves to a higher orbit once separated from the Falcon 9. If there's any issues with the Starlink satellites, they will automatically deorbit themselves to burn up in Earth's atmosphere. A ballistic re-entry, as they say. So, um, if you I haven't really introduced myself, my name is Jack. I also go by Civilian Space. I'm a live stream host here at Total Space. Um, So I'm glad to be here today for this launch. A pretty routine launch in terms of live stream hosts, but I'll try and make it special for you guys, the viewers. Oh, audio check. We have something in audio. So, this is quite a kind of later kind of launch for SpaceX. They're usually like 11, 12, 8, well, PM, sorry. They're quite usually earlier in the day. But Starlink, normal as you can get.
1, 2,
We-
3, 1.
We also have news from Starbase on other SpaceX grounds. We have a new date for the EA. Bum bum bum. So we have got a new date. So that is the 31st of May. It has been delayed from the 29th, which is today. They have updated the section of the section, I believe it's section 206, which is now 6th of May. SpaceX also added some stuff to the EA, which added some extra time to that timetable. We hopefully should see some progress in that EA in the next month. For EA, sorry, I keep on saying that. In the next month or so. And we are starting to see some real progress, although some space fans are really getting annoyed at the FAA now.
Yeah,
But
it's a lot.
we stay
I'm
patient.
back. I'm back, Jack. I'm back.
Potato Man is back.
But absolutely amazing that everything that's going on down at Boca Chica's Starship and everything. Bit
Absolutely.
of a shame that everything's being pushed back by the FAA again. It's
Yep.
looking, I think, I don't know if you saw that, Jack, but got pushed back another month or two. But a bit more time for construction, and they've got to test the new Starship anyway. I think it was Starship
Yes,
23, 24, I think.
there is a slight problem with that though. See if this gets delayed one more time, SpaceX can't test because their test license runs out on the 27th of May, which
Yeah.
means they can't do any ground tests, they can't do any cryo tests, they can't do static fires, which would ground the ground testing elements of
Mm.
the Starship system to complete halt.
But I mean, hopefully they'll apply for new licenses and they'll get all that sorted, no doubt. Because they've been applying for multiple things and everything, but just absolutely amazing what's going on down there.
Yeah,
How they're going to
absolutely.
bring everything to the Kennedy Launch Complex, who knows? Because Starship, it'd be kind of funny seeing Starship being tugged along on a massive boat or an oil tanker or something like that. But
There's a problem with
maybe,
that though.
yeah,
Starship can't be transported horizontally.
yeah, exactly.
So maybe
But
there's like a big skyscraper on a barge. Need to move
yeah,
bridges.
and it's too experimental to land it there at the moment because there isn't necessarily a dedicated landing pad for that.
Yeah.
And is
Eh,
Starship actually going to have landing legs yet? Who
yeah.
even knows the actual version of it as it is at the moment?
Yeah. It was actually Section 206, which is now the 6th of May. That is quite positive because it means they are gaining progress and they see a date to complete. There's about two more sections to go after the Section 206. That is the main, I believe, environmental standpoint.
Yeah,
Then they will just have to look over some of the other comments to see the general outpouring from the public comments, and also what what I guess I've done this before, but like with the environmental concerns, what if it's going to be a mitigated finding of no significant impact, which that means it's still they can still launch, you can still apply for launch licenses,
yeah.
but they just need to make a few changes. I'm starting to roll out very, very slowly at EIS because you'd think with an EIS it would end up kind of like you'd think it'd be a quicker process. You'd be like, nope, that
it's
is
long.
not
It's long and
environmental
drawn out with it
friendly.
being something new and experimental, and the
Yeah,
only main issue is it's the largest rocket that's going to be in operation,
yeah, it's like the
bigger than
Saturn V of
bigger
the
than
century.
SLS.
Um, Also, I think even though I'm a Starship fanboy, I'm a realistic one. I think some of the fans need to realise this needs to be done. You can't rush a government agency. You can't like due processes have to be done. This had to be done on Falcon 9, for example. Had to be done on every single rocket that has flown. This is the biggest rocket since the Saturn V, and the environmental impact down on a beach down in Texas needs to be analysed.
Definitely. We're just 5 minutes away from the SpaceX live stream popping up, so we'll bring that up very soon. The booster today that's launching for this Starlink mission is booster 1062. It's the sixth reuse of this one. This one's a Starlink mission. Quite interesting. The previous launch, if anyone's down in the chat, can anyone tell me what the previous launch of this booster was? Go.
We streamed it.
Pick up. Yeah, down in the
Was
chat. Come on.
was it the last rocket launch we streamed? Uh,
Possibly.
I think it could have been.
I want people in
Can
the chat to
producing
tell me. Come
teams
on.
tell that in my ear?
But
Um,
while we wait for people, but it previously launched Inspiration 4 and another Starlink mission, and the very two of these other missions were GPS 3-5 and GPS 3-4. They were the first few missions for that
with
booster.
with
But
this quicker,
the last one
sorry,
before today, what do you think it is?
with
Justini
this,
AX1. Yep, you got it right.
That with this
Max
quick a
Q as
turnaround,
well.
by the way, how
Yeah.
far? What kind of inspections do you think this like took place? Could this have added some extra risks to this launch?
They're making things easier and easier as it goes. Because they'll probably give the engines a quick clean down because they do coke up a little bit.
Pressure washer.
Because and They'll probably check all the lines and the electrical systems, but they're probably doing little improvements in the background that we don't see and they don't announce. So this one's
Yeah.
flown 6 times. Other boosters have flown 10 times now. So they'll.
Also, it's maybe because like see if they could probably get like a rocket out in like 10 days if like see if they had all the teams on it at once like say they like electrical team checkouts, engine checkouts
Mhm.
separately. If they put all the teams in at once, put rocket out in maybe a week or less.
Yeah. I
It
think
depends
that
who they might.
the limit. No problem. Jack's having a little bit of issue,
And
but I
the
think,
whole
like Jack
studio
was
is turned
saying,
into potato
I
mode
think
for
the
me.
limitation might be 7 to 10 days for turnaround on that because you'll have to leave the booster for all the gases to escape from the booster, let it cool down, and give it a good clean out the tanks, the engines, and check all the electrical systems because all that can't be really rushed. We're just about 2 minutes away from the live stream coming up. Launch today will be about 35 minutes past the hour, so we've got a good 15-20 minutes. So if anyone's got any questions, fire away, whether it's SpaceX related or anything
Yeah.
else, or something about the show if you want to ask. But coming up in the next week, hopefully, we had a very interesting interview with
Absolutely.
Kid Kid Petite. Absolutely amazing. For
Me or
that.
not, me or may
have we got
not include jump skills.
have we got Jack back yet, or is he still hovering
I
around in the background there?
I think I'm good. May or may not
Um,
include jump skills that interview.
yeah.
I'm
So yeah,
solid.
yeah,
I had no jump skills.
we were recording. Just everyone just listened quietly. Then all of a sudden, a massive bang in the background. I don't know if the
Bush
guys
like
have
that.
posted that online yet, but you'll see me jump out my skin and try not to. Me and Rich try not to laugh at each other because I just absolutely
I had no
jumped
idea what
an
was going on.
absolute
I have to
mile.
admit.
Miss Mrs. Producer, brown trousers for me. Yep, definitely. But
Right.
we've got Mrs. Producer here today.
Right. No. I've got a question with your poll. Will Starship OFT be from Florida or Boca Chica? Yes or no? Yes, no. And the who's behind that? Well, who was behind that?
Who knows? But
Great poll.
exciting mission today anyway. The Starlink Falcon 9 launch. So it's more Starlink satellites for you guys out there that have got the Starlink broadband service. It'll just getting bigger and better, and they're expanding that because it's
Yep.
being used in the likes of Ukraine and everything at the moment, which is absolutely amazing.
Over
Helping those
10,000
guys over there
terminals over
at
there.
this moment in time. But
Yeah.
the more Starlinks that are up there, better the connection, and year by year, SpaceX have hinted at bringing those costs down because at the moment you're having to fork out $500 or £500, whatever it may be, wherever you are in the world, just for the system, and then you're going to pay on top of the monthly charge. But um, the SpaceX have hinted at trying to half that in the next year or two, and then
Yep.
half that cost again in the next year or
And
two beyond that.
in Ukraine, there is currently about 10,000 Starlink terminals.
Yeah.
I
So
found this quite. I'm not so saying surprising, but those terminals weren't sent actually free of charge. The US government actually paid for those.
yeah, most likely. It's probably to do with the various deals that they've done with, and or just got funding for themselves to help the country out in need. Whether that came from Elon, whether that came from SpaceX or the US government's don't really know. I'll have to do a
Yeah,
bit more. We'll have to do a bit more digging on that, but whether we'll actually find anything on it, I don't know. But it's fantastic either way. It helps them out, keep everyone connected and everything.
absolutely.
But
So I need to make sure I'm gonna ask a question to chat here because I don't want to embarrass myself and try to guesstimate the right answer. How many Starlink satellites can Starship hold?
ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
Uh,
Come on, chat.
right, right, wait, yep, yeah, good, come on.
Yeah, SpaceX are now live, so we'll bring that up very shortly for you.
Uh, f-
But
First
how many
person to answer gets
Starlinks do you think
first
Falcon
person
9 can carry?
Starlinks compared to how many Starlinks do you think a Starship can carry? Is a question as well.
Or a Starship, you know.
First person to answer gets a cookie. Not actually allowed to just to say that.
Gets a cookie.
Has it got a
Cookie.
cookie emoji?
Mrs. Producer trying to make me laugh on camera there.
And it worked for me.
We're just waiting for SpaceX to go live here, and then we'll start getting streams of the booster getting ready to launch.
Wait, the official number. Wait, Justin has a number. Right, okay, we have an answer. Do you have cookies?
Virtual cookies,
Oh,
NFT cookies,
are we
free.
opening ourselves to a lawsuit? Is the question?
Around 400, Justini thinks. I thought it was about 200 or 300, a bit lower than that, but I might be wrong.
Yep.
But it'd be interesting to see how they do the deployment sequence for a larger number of Starlink satellites. Because
With
obviously doing, I think it's 56 or so that are getting launched today, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. But
with the
but
deployment sequences, it's like a little basically how to explain letterbox in the nose cone, which deploy it's like a flat pack. It basically deploys like this.
yeah. But it'd be interesting to see because there's such a dense amount of Starlinks in
Yeah.
a little space. They'll have to deploy it over a longer period of time. Whether they do that in sections, and there might be some more thrusters
Yeah.
involved to try and space them out better. Be quite interesting to see. 'Cause I can't imagine
Also,
that.
sorry, on you go.
I was just saying I can't imagine they'd have all 200 in the same orbit necessarily. So it might
Yeah.
be 50 in one, then they'll have to spread the others out into a slightly different orbit, 50 in another. But it'll be interesting how see how they do it,
Back
and
to
with the new laser communication system as well.
yeah. Back with Starship, by the way. We have about 20 Raptor 2s delivered to Boca Chica.
Very interesting. But
So that will be for Booster 7. Hopefully, as you know, that downcomer was completely crushed like a Pringles can.
yeah, they've got to replace that.
Yep, the
Well,
big tin
but
can as
they
well.
are currently replacing it more likely. I think they've lifted it up and trying to replace it. I think from what I've seen,
I think they're doing it in
if I'm not wrong.
panels. They're doing it in like panels, so they're not like opening up the top and pulling the one out and putting a Pringles can in. They
Mhm.
are like I think they're getting like the crush sections inside. I think it was inside like the header tank in the booster, new header
Yeah,
tank design, and and pressure differential crushed. Yep, push. We'll get some audio to you, Max.
Payload
Q.
deploy is scheduled to occur about
Um.
T+1 hour after liftoff.
So,
And we will confirm deployment
I
of our
believe they're
Starlink
just going to get like the
satellites via
panels
SpaceX's
and
social
do
channels,
that
so
individually.
be
How
sure to keep
those
an eye out
wells
for that.
go
If for some reason we
stand
don't
up
launch today, we do
against
have a
pressure.
backup
I will
opportunity
never
on
know.
Saturday, April 30th.
I
Hopefully
mean,
it's not like
the
Mark
the
Bromwell's.
downcomer in that thing's going to be have to
Now,
be
the
mighty
vehicle that you see
strong
on
because
your
you
screen
think how
is
much
our
pressure's going to be
Falcon 9
inside that
rocket,
tank
and
as
the
well.
Starlink
Starship, they
satellites
managed
are
to do a
housed at the
Starship
very
to a certain
top of the
extent,
rocket in a
but
structure known as
Right,
the
it's a slightly smaller tank.
all chat
And there you can see the
is
fairing on
smart.
your screen. The job of the
What
fairing is
pressure?
to protect
I
the
believe
Starlink
this is
satellites
public.
until we reach the
What
vacuum of
pressure is
space. At
inside
that
a
point, we will
Falcon 9
jettison the
tank?
fairing halves and
I
attempt to
believe it's
retrieve
like
them once they return back down to
there's a
Earth.
certain
The
pressure.
fairing halves protecting our Starlink satellites today are flying for the second time. And if you're familiar with SpaceX, you know that.
But I'd be
I'm just
purely
trying to
guessing
think
on
here.
that one. I'd
With
have to do a
SpaceX,
bit
you know
more
that
research.
reusability is one of our top
But
priorities as it is
I've got
key
to
reducing
we've
the
got a
cost
few
of
minutes
space access
before
for all
launch.
Yep, you're
missions.
6 minutes away.
Falcon 9 is the only orbital class
10:35
rocket in the
liftoff
world capable
of
of
this
reuse,
one.
which
Liftoff
means that it's the
thrust
only rocket that can
over
boost its payload to orbit and then come back
7,600
down to Earth to be
kilonewtons, if you
flown
like.
again.
It's absolutely amazing.
Now,
The
the part
price
of
for
the
this
rocket that's
launch,
responsible for
67
powering these
million.
repeat
But
trips to
obviously,
space is
it's a
called the first
SpaceX
stage.
launch
The
for their
bottom
very
portion
own
of the vehicle that you
Starlink
see on your
missions.
screen.
So whether they actually pay that
The dark
67
set
million
that
on or
you
not, so who
might be able to see
knows?
Yep.
around the base
Right,
of the vehicle are remnants from its previous launches. This
Yeah.
particular booster has supported 5
Pressurized to
previous
50
missions.
50
GPS-3
psi.
space.
That
This
is
is the
good.
producer there.
Right, JR Gaming, we do have an
GPS-3
answer for
space
you. What will
vehicle
be the
4 and
fate for
5,
Buster 7?
Inspiration 4, a
We
Starlink
hope,
mission,
and what for
most
what we've seen,
recently,
they are trying to
AX-1
repair
or
that
Axiom
downcomer.
1, which
They don't want to
just
just scrap
launched
it
3
because of
weeks
that.
ago.
They've scrapped for less
In
before,
fact,
but
the booster that you see on your
we
screen had the
it
fastest
does look like
turnaround
they're going
time
to try
to
and
date.
repair that.
The
That
AX-1 mission launched
and
on April
obviously they
8th,
go
so
for a
it
new
only took
round
the
of
teams
pressure
9 days to
tests to
refurbish.
see if that
And today
downcomer
marks
is
21
working
days to get it
well.
back to the launch pad to
We
support
Just to
hopefully
the
interrupt you
mission.
there,
That's a
SpaceX
great
confirming
milestone
that
for our
was the
teams as it brings
fastest
us one
turnaround of
step
the
closer to
Falcon 9
providing fast and
booster,
reliable
21
access to
days.
space for all.
Absolutely
How
fantastic.
would it be
Falcon 9
hard?
references the
Would it
9
hard to
engines
get the
on the first
pressure
stage.
washer and
There's actually
soap
10
gun out to
engines on the
wipe
vehicle
clean
overall.
a
The
Falcon
10th
9
engine
booster
powers the second
to make
stage,
it look
which is the
nicer?
portion of the
No,
rocket that you see on
certified
your screen
pre-owns it.
at
Say,
the
I
very
don't know if
top of
it's
the
a
rocket below the
scam, but just say
fairing.
it's
Now,
new.
while the
It
first stage
makes
powers us out of
well,
Earth's atmosphere and into space,
not
the
really a
second
scam
stage takes
reusing the
the
boosters.
satellites
It
to the
makes
targeted
things
drop-off
more
orbit.
cost
After
effective
the
for
first and second stages
SpaceX.
separate, the second stage
No,
will ignite
that's not what I
single
meant
impact
now.
In the short term,
carry our
but
satellites to low Earth
it's
orbit.
their
T
rocket.
minus
At
5
the,
They're
minutes.
very
their
similar to the
rocket at the end of
Merlin
the day, and they
1D
can
engines on the first stage. The
charge what they
Merlin
want, kind
vacuum
of thing.
engine has
Because
a larger
although
Certified
nozzle that allows the
pre-owned.
for
second stage to
a
perform
new
better in the
Falcon 9, I think it's about
allows
150 million
the
or something like that. If they wanted to buy one
MVAC
from
engine to
scratch,
perform better in the
but they can
vacuum
bring
of
the cost
space.
down to 50 to 60 million
Now,
by
following
reusing them.
separation
That's
of
why
the
the cost's a
second
lot
stage, we
lower.
will be attempting
Have
to
you
build
ever
the
went
first
on
stage flight a
SpaceX's
sixth time
websites
on
like
our
the
drone ship?
transport or ride
Just read
share
the
program where you see
instructions.
how
You can
much
see
it is
that
to get
there
a satellite
live on your screen.
on like the ride share?
And your
Not the
It's like
ride
2
shares
million.
myself. It
117th recovery
varies
of a Falcon 9
because obviously it
first
depends
stage.
how much you send in and what orbit and stuff like that.
Now we are coming up
Right, okay.
on the TE
insertions.
retraction, and to do so, the clamp arms need to
I'm
open.
not sure if this
and
is
you
like
can
just
see
cost
on
to
your screen
launch,
those
but a
clamp
Falcon
arms
9
just below
launch
the
will cost
fairing
67 million.
are opening up. Once they're fully open,
Yeah.
A
the
Falcon
transporter
Heavy
vector will
launch will
start
cost
to move
97 million.
slightly away
Oh.
from the vehicle and clear
Yep.
its way for liftoff.
So we're just over
If you've
3
been
minutes away
following
from
along,
launch
you know that
there.
we've had a pretty
Yep.
But
busy week
yeah,
here
no,
at
but Falcon
SpaceX.
9's not too
On
much.
Sunday, the first
Falcon 9,
ever private
no,
astronaut
Falcon
mission
Heavy,
to
if
the
you like,
International
isn't
Space
too much
Station
more.
undocked from the
I think
floating
it's a bit
laboratory
higher
and
than the
safely splashed
90
down the
million
following day
mark. I
in the
believe it's
Atlantic Ocean.
upwards
After
of
17 days in
around the
space, here you can see the
125 once
Axiom
you
astronauts
count
taking their
in
first
Yep.
breaths
a lot
of
of the
fresh
other
air in more than
factors.
2
The
weeks.
rocket itself is
Here you
probably
can
about
see
90,
Commander
but when you
Michael
factor
Lopez
in
Alegria,
Fueling.
pilot
special
Larry
factors
Connor,
of security of the
and mission
payloads that
specialist
it's
Mark
going to be
Pattney
using
and
and stuff
Eitan
like that, it
Stibbe.
ends up being more. Because
Then
SpaceX always
early
say
Wednesday
the Falcon
morning,
9's 50
SpaceX
million,
launched
but
Crew 4
I can
carrying
see a
NASA
figure there,
astronauts Shel
67
Lindgren,
million for this
Bob
Starlink
Hines,
one, even though
Jessica
they say
Watkins,
50
and
million
ESA astronaut
per
Samantha
launch, so there's an
Cristoforetti
extra
to
17
the
million there for
International
something.
Space Station.
And
It
that's
took the
just to
crew
cover
about
the
16 hours
security and everything to do with Starlink.
Also, I
servicing.
don't
And
I don't
along the way, they
understand
took a moment
how
to have some
this
fun and
became
give us a little
logical.
tour around the Dragon spacecraft.
The Falcon
And we're
Heavy
not
is
done
just a
yet.
Falcon
The Crew
9,
4's arrival
like
to
Falcon 9
station.
fairing.
With Crew 4's arrival to
Surely a
station,
Falcon
Crew
Heavy
3
should
is
have
now
an extended
preparing to
fairing
return
for
back to Earth.
obviously
Well, you can
After
either
their
compare
long duration
compare
stay
it to
aboard
what
the International
ULA
Space
do with some of their
Station. So
rockets.
Stay
So you've
tuned for
seen
more
like
on
some
that.
of the Atlas rockets, you
Yeah,
have
And
the
this has also been a
version where it's
great
just the
week for
center core,
anyone who's
or you have
ever had
the
a bad
it's
Wi-Fi
Atlas
updated.
Heavies,
experience on a
which have
plane, as
essentially the same thing
Starlink
as
is now coming to air
the
travel.
Falcon Heavy,
JSX,
just
a
Yep.
strapped
regional
with the two
air
boosters on
carrier
the
in the
side.
continental United
Because the
States, and
current
Hawaiian
Atlas
Airlines
V,
have both
or Atlas
selected
5,
Starlink
if you
as
want to
their
call it,
in-flight
there
internet
was supposed to
provider.
be a heavy
And
version of
both
that,
airlines will make Starlink
with
service
the
available
center
to
core.
every
Ignore
passenger
the
without
solid
complicated
rocket
login or
boosters, it was
payment
just going to
screens,
be three
so
Yeah.
that when
cores,
customers get on the
and
plane,
that would have
the
been
internet just works.
a lot,
So that's
well,
very
probably a lot better
exciting.
than Falcon 9, but it's
But
a
with
hell of a
just
lot
a
more
couple
money.
minutes
But
left to
they
go, Falcon
canned
9
that
is
once
moving into the
they done
final
the
stages
design,
of the
and just
countdown.
thought it's cheaper with the solid rocket boosters. So
We
the Atlas
already
V
heard
just
Lock's
stuck
Load
with
complete on the
the
first stage. We
center
are
Yep.
core with the
awaiting
solid
completion
boosters,
of Lock's
and
Load
sent
on the second
numerous
stage there.
missions to Mars, Curiosity, Perseverance,
Yep.
and just so many other stuff.
Stage 2 LOX load is complete.
Great news. That's
Yeah.
that call
Ju-
out. What that
just to
means is now
notice,
prop
sorry,
load is
just to
About a
complete
notice,
minute
on
and a half
Falcon
away
yeah,
now.
9
we
and
will
ready for
go muted and
T0
full screen
today.
to give you the best views of the launch. Of
We'll
course,
start to
that
vent out.
this, I wouldn't say instantaneous,
Start to
but
vent out
this
the
mission
liquid
can't
oxygen lines
be
on the transporter
held.
rector, so you
If
can
it
see
is
those
held,
white
it will be
clouds there on your
scrubbed
screen.
because of the
And
super
then
chill
at the
propellants Falcon
T-minus
can
1
use
minute
these.
mark, the Falcon
So
9
if
flight
there's
computers
a
will
hold for
take
some
over the
reason,
launch
weather,
countdown.
range, engine issues,
We
which
should
I
hear
highly
that
doubt,
call out here
they
Or a
will
shortly.
scrub
fisherman.
for the day. Pray to the Falcon
Great
gods.
weather over there at the Cape.
Let's go.
This is great. A great day
Now we
for
just go full screen.
and great news. It's a great day for a launch. Falcon 9 is now in startup. We are now just waiting for the final go from the launch director.
Falcon 9 Starlink 416 LD is go for launch.
And great news, we are go for launch.
30 seconds.
Now with all systems go, let's watch as Falcon 9 takes our 53 Starlink satellites into orbit.
Fifteen seconds. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Lift off the Starlink. Go Falcon. Go Starlink 416. Vehicle is pitching downrange.
MOD chamber pressure is nominal.
Falcon 9 has successfully lifted off from Space Launch Complex 40, carrying our
That was
53
an
Starlink
absolute
satellites.
picture perfect
Now,
launch of the
although
Falcon
liftoff
9.
gravity is pulling the vehicle
Little
Absolutely
bit of
amazing.
shake from the
down,
absolute
as we ascend, we tilt
shake
the
as
engine.
normal from the cameras. That is just from the
Tilting those
complete
engines
force
is
of a rocket
dimpling.
launch.
That turns the
Yeah,
rocket
hopefully
motor
we'll
on.
get a
You
good
can kinda see that
camera
there
view
on
of
your screen.
the set
So we are
stage
still
separation that we
above the
sometimes
line.
see.
We're also heading
That is a
Hopefully we've
good
got a
view,
good
wow.
clear shot of the Falcon 9
is
going
what
up
we
there.
call a
Absolutely
gravity turn.
crystal
And we
clear.
are coming up on max Q here in a few
Whoa.
seconds.
But I love these shots. The launches. I think the best one we've seen
Yeah, it was
as of
payload
late
set
is the stage separation, and you see the second
fading.
stage lighting up. Hopefully we'll get a shot of that today in nice clear blue sky.
Yeah. You can see like the darkness of space. Oh,
Definitely.
we're
So
back
we've
to
passed.
normal views.
So we're past max Q and we're heading towards main engine cut off
Yep,
in
and
just a moment.
engines throttle down nominally for max Q, which means the vehicle doesn't, how do I explain it, go under too much stress, too much stress during the most aerodynamic pressure on the vehicle.
Most dangerous point of the rocket's journey, essentially.
Warhawk Coffee Club, thank you for joining us. Appreciate you being here.
First launch of Steam without Mike. We all remember Mike. Absolutely amazing
Yeah.
guy. Remember everything even to this day.
we're just about 15 seconds away from
It's a
those three
fantastic
events.
launch
We go
today.
to
Just
stage
got the main engine
separation,
cut off just
SpaceX
about
Starlink,
there.
Yep,
about
we're just
10
about to
seconds
get
or
main
so
engine cut off
after
and
this
fading
one. Should also
jettison.
see
Those fading,
the fairing hatch
those
get set for the
fadings
second stage.
Oh,
will
separation.
fall back to Earth. We should. Oh, whoa! Oh, they're going to that view. Okay. Yep,
Nearly
and
knocked
we
the
have
camera up
normal
there.
separation. We should see the stuff now, jettison. And yep. Yep, that is a stiffener which holds the nozzle from
Fairings
flexing too
away.
much. Incidental stage. Great stage set. We can see those titanium grid fins start to rise height.
Some incredible views there. We just
Lovely
had
shot.
Nico's stage separation. You can see those fairing
And now we're going to
hats
see the
on the
booster just
right-hand screen
drift
falling back to
for a little
Earth.
bit
w-
until that main entry
And we've
burn.
got some nominal
I
call-outs.
wonder
The MVAC
if
engine lit up on the second stage.
SpaceX just has a guy with the same tools we
The
do,
first
just
stage
cutting
grid
between
fins have
camera views.
deployed. So on
Like
your
a stream
left-hand
deck, for
screen,
example,
you're
just
looking
like
at a view
button
from the
clicking.
first stage. On your
Oh,
right-hand screen, you're looking at a view of the MVAC engine on the second stage.
Yeah, they've probably got their own team
While that second
there,
stage
just
is doing its
like
job,
we
that
are right
first
now.
stage is coming
Got
back
their
home
own
to
Mrs.
Earth.
Producer,
And it'll execute two
yep.
Mr.
burns to
Producer,
get back
Mrs.
home.
Producer, who
The
knows,
first is the entry burn.
It's a
working
mystery.
away in the background.
Of the 9 M1D
The whole
engines
media team, to be
reignite
fair,
to slow the stage down
absolutely
as it's
incredible
entering
what
back into the
they can
denser
bring
part
us.
of the Earth's atmosphere.
But we've just
And the
got the
atmosphere
booster
actually
just
helps to
floating away
spread
there,
out
and
the
the
Yep.
bits of
velocity
ice
of the
ice that you
vehicle
see there is
until
just
the
off
second
the
and
actual
final burn, which
booster
is the landing
floating
burn.
around. It's
That's
not
a
pieces of
single
the rocket
engine
or
burn
anything like that.
that brings the
It's always
Yep.
a bit
vehicle
strange
speed
just seeing it float
down
away. It's like, hang on a minute,
rapidly in
what's
order to
that?
touch
But
down
it's
on the
just
ground.
the build up of
Just
ice,
ice.
as some as you know, watching the launches
And
quite
again
often.
today, we will be attempting to land on just read the
And a bit I
I don't
do
know
love.
why. I
And
don't know
each one
why
of
I
these
find it so
M1D
weird, like seeing just a
engines
transporter
has
rector just sitting by
190,000
itself
thrust. So
at a
we
launch
do
pad
only
after
use
rockets took
one
off.
engine
It's like
for that final landing
sitting
burn
here.
to touch
So
down
lonely.
Yep.
drone ship and
But the bit I
Absolutely.
love with the booster coming back down, you sometimes see it more on the land, return
Yeah.
to launch site. I've seen the airstream going over them grid fins, like going through the supersonic
Yeah,
speeds
you
and
would have
everything, or
those rapid
transonic.
spike bomb.
starting up on the
But you
first
don't
stage.
necessarily see it too much out at
First
sea.
stage also
It's
has
many of the return to launch sites.
4 landing
Just
legs made of carbon
approaching
fiber
entry
going on the
burn. Got that
honeycomb,
second stage still burning.
Yep.
and they're
It'll
placed
just still
symmetrically
building up speed to gain that
around
maximum
the
speed
Falcon
for
9
to reach
vehicle instead
orbit
of the base
there.
of the vehicle. They just deploy just right
Great. It was a
before the
great
vehicle touches
launch.
down.
Picture perfect, same as always so far.
It's just getting so routine, isn't it? It's like it's almost kind of like, yeah, it's going to land and launch and land, no problem. But it's just
What would you say the most risky part of a mission is? The landing of the booster, although it's not mission critical, or
in the background of both of these views.
at
Again, today we are carrying our
Yeah.
Starlink
or
satellites
ascent of the
to
Falcon 9.
their drop-off orbit.
the most risky part will be
And on
obviously
your left-hand screen, you might see
the safe
some
deployment of the actual
white ice
Starlinks and
there.
satellites or
Yeah,
other
sure.
other critical
Those
payloads. But
are
after that,
nitrogen
it's
gas
all
pipes.
essentially down to just getting that
Those
booster
help
back.
with
But
attitude control,
they've got it down to such a T that
as well as the grid
if
fins
one of the
helping to
other
guide the
Yeah.
vehicle
if the
back
one of the
to
other engines
landing zone.
fails, maybe one of the other ones can take over. But this flight's it's his sixth flight of this booster, so it's not a major
Still
issue
looking
Yeah.
nominal
if it does fail.
to
But
a
you've got
nominal
that main
trajectory.
entry burn there just firing up. But it's not a
Yeah.
major issue if they do lose the booster. But I imagine just getting the
And on your
booster
left-hand
back
screen, you can
in
see
Yeah,
one
the
piece is the
days
main critical
go.
part of the mission after that.
this burn will
You've
last
gone are the
about 20
days of
seconds
like
long.
running out
This is the
hydraulic
entry burn for the
fluid,
first stage.
running out of ignition fluid, running landing legs snapping and failing to deploy.
Yeah, they still have issues. They still have issues. They still have issues. It's not
And as
picture
you
I know
see
it's
perfect
not.
all the
It's
time.
not. It's not ironed out, but it's
the
just.
entry burn.
It's much more nominal most of the time. Most don't jinx.
Yeah, I mean we've seen the likes of Blue Origin and their little Shepherd
Here, everything is
hovering and
looking
then
nominal
landing,
for
but
both vehicles.
it's a little bit easier when the rocket's
Well,
1/10 the
shit.
size and a lot
And
smaller
we're
and
just about a minute
lighter.
away
But
from the landing
be
burn
interesting to see
beginning
how
on
they
the first
translate
stage.
that
Again, as I
technology into
mentioned,
the bigger
the
rockets of New
atmosphere
Glenn
helps
when
to
they
support a lot of the
eventually get
velocity
around to
as
all
the
that.
first
So
stage
let's
makes
see
its
whether
way
their
Yeah.
landing legs
back
work
to
as
the
well,
landing zone after
or it's a
Fine.
similar
the burn has
situation.
concluded.
thanks, Crypto 101. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for
Right,
joining us, guys.
Yep.
Got the main landing coming up in just a second, so fingers crossed for the camera. Oh, there's that jet stream over the fins that I love there. Just seeing a little glimpse of it on the left-hand side. Look at that. I love that.
I keep drawing pins.
Absolutely incredible. And you'll see those little fins
Yeah.
wiggle around, steering the
We
booster
are nearing
towards the...
landing.
Yeah.
Those will be inactive. Yep, those will be inactive until the atmosphere is thick enough where it will make
Landing
a significant Oh, yep, we have landing burn. Where the grid fins make a significant impact on roll, yaw, and pitch.
So scary how fast it comes in. Look, it's just like last minute, just like
Thanks, Crypto. We'll appreciate that.
down and touch.
Yeah, this is where they just sway at the last minute, so in case there's an engine failure, they just land right next to the drone ship.
If you notice, the last few launches, they've been getting it almost practically bang on in the middle.
Yep, what those Starlink satellites?
And no loss of signal.
With Starlink satellites bolted to the deck, that gives us a much more like continuous feed of the landing, and it's not all shaky and cuts out.
I'm going to see second engine cut off just now, so you'll see that there, and it'll just coast now for a good while just before deployment.
Yep.
That booster back safe on the pad there. Absolutely incredible launch and incredible landing.
We should be seeing a Rocket Lab launch in 45 minutes, but I got scrubbed. Play sad music.
You won't.
Play sad music.
Yeah, Rocket Lab delayed. They're trying to get the weather perfect for their booster catch by the looks of it. They've estimated 1st of May, so I'd say what's 1st of May? What day do we land on?
Is that Sunday?
Yeah, I believe it's Sunday. Yeah, Sunday. Yeah.
Is that Sunday? Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe there may possibly. Yeah, I'll be there. If it's the same time, I will be there. You'll see me possibly with other hosts.
Yeah, but absolutely fantastic launch by SpaceX. Has anyone got any questions before we wrap things up?
Yeah.
I know we could go on and everything. But absolutely fantastic launch today by SpaceX and Starlink.
Yep, absolutely.
But I don't believe there's any questions there. But I will just hang around for another minute or two. What have you got coming up, Jack? I know you've got working on a video coming out very, very soon.
Yes, I do. I like to call it personally civilian SpaceX updates, although I find that slightly quite, I wouldn't say childish, but it's just about, as you can see, I'm quite passionate about the goings in Starbase. I decided to make my own segment. It may start on Ryan's show, but we hope to see you soon in that segment. We'll go over all the daily ins and outs of Starbase operations.
Definitely. And I'm going to quickly run and plug my computer in before it dies. So I will see you guys later, and I'll let Jack close out before I completely fade out into the black ether. But thanks for joining us, guys. Remember to like and subscribe to this video and sign up to Patreon at patreon.com/total space. And join us for special guests and so much more. Watch out for Jack's video coming up in the next few days, and watch out for that amazing interview that we just recently done. If you know, you know.
Right, okay, thank you for joining us at the Starlink launch. We may see you on Sunday for another launch by Rocket Lab. As always, your support is highly appreciated, and we hope to see you here at Totals again soon. Ad Astra.